Here we are again. I think this is going to be a really interesting topic, this one. I'm just calling it #FutureofPayroll.
Love this.
Bit of blue sky stuff, bit of now, bit of where we're going. I'll throw one out there to start with. Real-time pay.
Yeah, it's you know what, I'm hearing a lot of people talking about this at the moment. In fact, I was speaking to a client the other day that has a large cleaning company, and when he hadn't thought about real-time pay or daily pay, and when I brought it up, he said, wow, that would really change my business, because it just the engagement that he would get with his employees. Sort of, you know, they work a day, they get paid for the day. I think it's definitely coming. That whole gig economy is is really the future of payroll for us. Pardon me. And I think employers who can deliver that, or outsource providers who can deliver that, will really be well placed for the future. Also, employees who in the gig economy who are not just working for one employer in a week, but maybe multiple, and they still want daily pay. How's that going to work? We need to figure out how we can deliver real-time pay over multiple employers for in the gig economy. I think that is where the future of payroll lies for me, and that's what we're trying to help the industry to solve.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, but as an employee, if I go and work a shift at a fast food outlet and I can get paid for it tonight or tomorrow, I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I think it sort of really comes into that sort of whole staff engagement, staff happiness, retention, attracting the right people to work for you. I think there's a lot of flow-on effects when you start thinking as an employer like that as well.
Yep, absolutely. I think that it's good for everyone, and it will allow employers to pull in talent as they need it. I mean, it's one of those things. I think that the future of payroll is only being held back at the moment by kind of legislative issues. The legislation hasn't quite caught up where employers want to be, but it'll happen. Yeah.
Now you touched on it a couple of moments ago around the gig economy. Like, I've always been a really big advocate that if you want to have a complete view of your workforce, then you need to see all of your workforce, whether they're full-time, part-time, casual, agency staff, gig workers, call it what you want. What are you seeing in the payroll space around that?
We completely agree, and a lot of employers will actually hold their contract workers who might be paid in accounts payable on their payroll systems and on their HR systems, purely because it's still it's their talent pool, and they need to know, who's got the skills, where they can find the talent, who's on site, for example. So we've been seeing that for some time, and I think that will continue. It will be how those, the other thing is too, the sort of the employee story, how they started. Seeing that history is important too. Sort of individualising that employment with an employer. So when HR want to see the history of the employer, they want to see the whole history and see, because that will affect how that employee even feels about the employer. Is this my home? Is this where I belong? So I think it's really important to have all types of employees on the systems.
No, and that's probably a good segue to the next thing that I'm sort of seeing. Like, as an employer, I think in the business we've been hung up on, this is payroll's function, or this is HR function, or this is a workforce management function, or whatever it is. But the business is really just caring about outcomes, and they don't care which function or which silo or whatever it happens to be in. So I think there's a real trend to just, here's a business problem and I've got to solve it.
Totally.
I think that's what you're talking about.
Exactly. One of my favourite things to answer is when people ask me, where should payroll report, HR or finance? And I think people are often quite shocked when I say, I couldn't care less. I just don't care where payroll reports. What I care is that the job's getting done, that HR is getting what they need from payroll, that finance is getting what they need from payroll, that line managers are getting what they need, that employees are getting what they need. Then the job is done. Where payroll reports should be irrelevant.
Yeah, very true, very true. Anything else on the future of payroll that you'd like to add in there?
Look, I think, as I say, in terms of the future, I really think it's going to be driven by that gig economy, that real-time payroll. What about global wallets? getting paid into a global wallet, like completely bypassing banks. I mean,
Yes.
that sort of thing is really interesting for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's becoming more and more real now as well.
Totally.
You know, I guess we sort of see some of it around some of that cryptocurrency type thing at the moment where you can, you know, I know some
I like real money in a global wallet. Not quite past that cryptocurrency line, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely available.
Absolutely it is. All right, thank you for sharing your thoughts
pleasure.
on Future of Payroll.
No worries.